Ravens fan, you won't believe the play the Steelers are trying to pull off. Their backup quarterback just dropped a statement that could completely shake up how our team prepares for the next game. They're trying to make us waste time worrying about something that might not even happen. But is this just a bluff, or is there something bigger behind it? And on top of that, what Coach Mike Tomlin revealed about this strategy makes things even more intriguing. Stick with me until the end, because every detail could be the key to winning this crucial matchup. Go Ravens! The Steelers know that in a game as critical as the playoffs, every little detail matters. That's why Coach Mike Tomlin is using a clever tactic, making the Ravens burn time and energy thinking about what Justin Fields, their backup quarterback, might bring to the field. Just the possibility of Fields stepping in forces Baltimore to prepare for more scenarios, even if he doesn't play much. It's like they're playing chess before even stepping onto the field, trying to move the right pieces to confuse their opponent. What's fascinating is how this strategy plants doubt in the minds of the Ravens. They're already dealing with Russell Wilson's playstyle, which is completely different from Fields. Now Tomlin is essentially saying, what if Fields comes in? What will you do? This forces Baltimore to prepare for two different game plans, potentially pulling focus away from their main strategy. For the Steelers, it's a way to gain an edge before the first snap even happens. Plus, Tomlin is famous for playing the mental. He knows that psychological preparation is just as important as physical readiness. Creating this uncertainty could unsettle the Ravens, leading to more mistakes. The essence of playoff strategy is exploiting every small opening to throw the opponent off balance. But will this plan actually work? Fields brings unique skills to the table that could make a big impact, even in limited snaps. And this looming threat of such a versatile quarterback raises a big question. How will the Ravens handle this possibility? That concern leads us to talk about the impact Justin Fields could have as the Steelers' surprise weapon. Justin Fields is the type of player who can completely shift a game's momentum, even with just a handful of snaps. Unlike Russell Wilson, he's known for his ability to run the ball and create plays with his legs. This gives the Steelers an intriguing advantage because the mere possibility of Fields taking the field forces the Ravens' defense to prepare for a whole different style of play. They can't afford to overlook the danger he poses, even if he's only used sparingly. This versatility is like having a hidden ace up their sleeve. Fields could show up in read option plays, or even as a decoy, making Baltimore's defense hesitate and open up opportunities for other players. Imagine a critical moment like a 3rd and short, where Fields steps in and suddenly no one knows if he'll run, pass, or just throw everyone off. That creates enormous pressure on the defense, because even a small mistake could be costly. Of course, the Ravens are aware of this and will try to anticipate every move. The problem is, with Fields on the field, the Steelers can use the element of surprise to their advantage. He doesn't have to be involved in every play to make an impact. Just his presence alone can alter the game's dynamics. For a team fighting to stay alive in the playoffs, utilizing Fields in strategic moments might be exactly what the Steelers need to disrupt Baltimore's. And here's the big question. Can the Ravens deal with this dual threat of Fields and Wilson? Preparing for two such different playstyles demands extra focus, which could put additional strain on the defense. To understand how Fields got to this point, we need to look back at his journey this season and how he might be ready to shine. Justin Fields started the season as the Steelers' starter, leading the offense through the first 6 weeks. During that stretch, he proved himself as a dual-threat player with huge potential, capable of making plays both through the air and on the ground. But as Russell Wilson recovered, Fields lost his starting role and transitioned into a backup position. To make things worse, injuries further limited his opportunities, including missing the last matchup against the Ravens entirely. Now, fully recovered, Fields is back as a real option for the Steelers at a crucial time. Even with limited recent action, he remains unpredictable, which is his greatest asset. It's like he's a secret weapon save for when the team needs him most, and the playoffs are the perfect stage. Fields might not have the flashiest stats this season, but his ability to deliver explosive plays could make all the difference in such a tightly contested game. There's also an element of trust here. Mike Tomlin knows what Fields can do and believes in his talent. Giving him this opportunity now could be exactly what Fields needs to prove he can still be a vital part of the team, even in a backup. This makes for an intriguing storyline because Fields has nothing to lose, while the Ravens have everything to lose if they can't stop him. This narrative of redemption and return makes Fields even more dangerous. He's motivated to shine under the playoff spotlight, which only adds to the uncertainty for Baltimore. And that brings us to Fields and Tomlin's recent statements. which show just how calculated this entire strategy is to throw the Ravens off their game. Hey, we've covered some great points already, but before we move on, I noticed you haven't hit that like button yet. It's super important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content, and it's completely free to do. So, go ahead and give this video a like. It means a lot. Now let's keep going. Justin Fields got straight to the point when talking about his role on the team. He knows that just being a threat forces the Ravens to prepare for him. According to Fields, this makes the opposing defense waste time analyzing situations that may never happen. It's a powerful mental play because it puts the Ravens in a position where they need to cover all possible scenarios. It's as if the Steelers are dictating the pace of the game before it even begins. On Tomlin's side, the rhetoric reinforces this idea of unpredictability. The coach made it clear that he's open to using Fields in specific packages, depending on how the game unfolds. He emphasized the player's talent as something that could be exploited in strategic moments, especially in a do-or-die game like this one. Tomlin is experienced enough to know that playoff success often comes from who can break the script and surprise the opponent. These statements aren't just empty words. They are part of a bigger plan to create doubt and anxiety in the Ravens camp. Baltimore needs to figure out how to split its attention between Wilson and Fields, which is no easy task. This requires much more preparation, and any mistake could be costly. At the same time, the Steelers are clearly trying to create as much uncertainty as possible, keeping Baltimore one step behind. This psychological approach reflects how football is much more than just physical. The Steelers are playing with both the mind and talent, which puts even more pressure on the Ravens. And with that, the big question arises: how will Baltimore prepare to face all these possibilities without losing focus on the main? The Ravens face a real puzzle before the game against the Steelers. How do you prepare for two such different quarterbacks? On one side, Russell Wilson is more traditional, focused on the passing game. On the other, Justin Fields is a dual threat, capable of running and improvising like few others. This duality forces Baltimore to create a more complex plan, covering all possible scenarios. This alone is a huge challenge because preparation time is limited and every minute counts. For the Ravens defense, this means adjusting schemes, practicing different formations, and being ready to react quickly to unexpected changes during. But there's a problem. The more they try to cover all scenarios, the greater the chance of making mistakes due to overthinking. This is exactly what the Steelers. Baltimore's defense needs to stay alert, but also avoid wearing itself out trying to anticipate every play. Moreover, the psychological impact is undeniable. Knowing that the Steelers are willing to use any available resource adds extra tension for the Ravens. They can't underestimate Fields, but they also can't lose sight of the main plan to contain Wilson. This balance is difficult to strike, and that's what makes the Steelers' strategy so smart. If Baltimore fails to find the sweet spot, they could fall into the trap and lose the advantage. In the end, it will all depend on how the Ravens handle this pressure and whether they can stay focused on what truly matters. Mental preparation will be just as important as physical preparation in this matchup. Now, the question is whether the Steelers will manage to turn all this uncertainty into a tangible advantage on the field. So, Ravens fan, now you know what the Steelers are plotting to try to destabilize our team. The statement from the backup quarterback and coach Mike Tomlin's approach show that they are willing to do whatever it takes to surprise us. But will this strategy actually work? Or will the Ravens once again show why they are one of the most solid teams in the league? Let me know in the comments what you think about this psychological play from the Steelers. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the Ravens news. Together, let's march toward victory.